Hi, welcome back to part 2 of the video session. As I mentioned earlier, we have the result of the previous iteration in the variable name called x. It is also possible to reuse the variable name. I just say x equals 32 divided by x. That means the value of x is 8 now. So 32 divided by 8, whatever is the results, that is going to be assigned in x. So at present is going to be 4. So the 4 is reassigned into a variable x. Okay, that means the same variable can be rewritten. It won't give you any warning or error. It will just overwrite the previous value. And as you can see here, we can also find various functions, like readily available functions like log of x. So we have log of x is like 1.3863. Like you want to know more about log, okay, like maybe you want to read about the function, or you want to read what's supposed to be the input value. You can always refer to the help file. As you can see here, help followed by the function name. So if you provide and you can see here there is a short description about the function and what are the other functions which is relevant to that or equivalent to these functions, like that. Okay, this is also mentioned here. Not a equivalent, it's relevant, which is like log base 10 or log base 2. There are so many other functions are there. Okay, now there is one more command is here. It's called whose. As you are aware, in C language, every variable is going to take certain amount of memory. Same way in MATLAB also, whenever you declare a variable, it is going to put by default as a matrix. As you can see here, 1 cross 1. It's always is actually a matrix. We can't say as a variable. Okay. So if I say now whose x, that means it will show me what is the size of that particular command and how many bytes of memory is used to save this particular value. See, if you type x, the result what we have it here just number 4. In a computer's memory, 8 bytes are used to save this value. Okay, and it is actually the class called double. So the whose function is going to help me to know about the data type. Now you may try to write these statements in a command line. You can see here, to find the area of the circle, just assume the value of pi as well as the diameter is given. You try to find out the area of the circle just by typing in a command window. And also try to write a statement to prove this statement. That means sin square x plus cos square x equals 1. If you type this particular statement with the x value as some angle, generally is in radian, but you can always just try some number and you should be able to get the answer as a 1. And also try to find out the MATLAB statement to find out the square root of 81. So this is a task for you. Now, as like a C language, even in MATLAB, we have a variable name. And also you can see this is also case sensitive. As Xsum is different from a capital X sum. It's a different variables. Okay, this is a case sensitive. And we have to start the variable name always with a letter, and it can go all the way up to 63 characters. That's the maximum variable name, the length of the variable name. Okay, if you have more than 63 characters, and it's going to be ignored. But after 63 characters, it will be ignored. And you can always rewrite. It's not necessary you have to it's not only the variable values you can rewrite, even you can also rewrite the variable name also. It was not going to give you any kind of error. Okay. When you are typing a program, maybe you made an error or you want to recall the previous command for some editing purpose. You can always use the up and down arrow keys to reach to the command, and you can use left and right arrow key to reach to the particular character. For example, you want to go back to this command. So in a command window, just place the cursor. Now I am pressing up arrow key. You can see the commands here, it will go in order. Okay, so it will go in order. So once you choose a command, okay, you want to execute this particular command, you can always press like enter, or straight away you can go to that particular command here and just double click on that. You can see here, when I double click, this particular command is getting executed. So it's up to us how we are going to choose the previous commands. Okay, once you use the arrow key, now you want to modify the command here. So you can always use the right or left arrow key. At present I am pressing the left arrow key. Okay, and press, and you can edit the equation here and just press enter. Okay, so we can always edit, or you can also select the previous command by using the 4 arrow keys. There are some predefined variables there in the MATLAB. As you have noticed earlier, whenever you type some variable name in the MATLAB window, by default it goes to the variable called answer, ANS. Again, you can see here, I am just clearing this workspace. The command what I told is clear. So I just type some number, like let us say 25. It goes by default into a variable name called answer. So this is your first default variable, and you are aware of the value of pi, and also whenever you want to use the value of pi, you no need to define, you can just type it as a pi. So that means if I type now pi, you can see what's the default value. And same way, the smallest incremental, for example, you want to go some numbers in steps, so this is the smallest possible value. And also we have the value for infinity, and also we have like not a number. For example, when I say now 0 by 0, you can see the answer is not a number. And also the smallest possible real number, and also the largest possible positive real number. Okay, and these are the values, and we have the complex number notations also by using either I or J. You just type I, you can see the complex number notation. So these are all the default, or we can say predefined values which is available, and these variable names also generally is reserved, and please note this can be overwritten. It is not going to give you any error saying that these variables are reserved. If you use it, you can make use of these values, or if you want to overwrite, yes, it is possible. Like I say now pi equals, let us say 5. See, now the value of pi is changed. It is not same as this, so it is possible to overwrite. So you have to be very careful. You should not touch upon these values, because these are all the default values which has to be used in our programming. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the basic operation of the MATLAB is a kind of matrices, and MATLAB is going to treat all variables as a matrices, no matter whether it's going to a single value or a multiple values. If you want to say, let us say like a matrix, of course 3 cross 5 matrix, again it's going to save it as a row and column. What we say as a scalar, which is nothing but one row and one column. That means we have here a number like answer, or let us say pi. This value is going to be a scalar now. In case if you have a one row and n column, maybe one row 10 columns, or 10 rows 1 column, which is referred as a vectors. So we have scalars and vectors in our MATLAB window. In case if you want to create a simple matrix, for example, a 3 cross 3 matrix you want to create. So how it has to be done? Constructing a matrix is very simple in a MATLAB. We have to use a set of bracket here, square bracket we have to use. Whatever you enter within a bracket, that is going to be considered as a matrix element. If you provide the values in a row by having a space, you can notice here there is a space, then this all is going to be a one-dimensional matrix. In case if you provide the data elements with the space, and if you terminate with the semicolon, and then if you further if you continue, this is going to be treated as a two-dimensional. That means it is going to be a row and second row and this is a third row. Just let me show one example now. I say now A equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with a space. When I press enter, you can see here the values, and you can see here now A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I type now whose, which command which you learned earlier, when I say whose A, each data is going to occupy 8 bytes. That means we have about 48 bytes of memory is reserved for saving this data. Okay, that means this is the size of the array, or we say matrix. If you want to make it this into a 2 rows, that means the same value, instead of space you have to terminate with the semicolon, and you can see here a 2 row and we have 3 columns. So it's very simple to create a matrix using MATLAB. Now you want to change a particular value, or you want to access a particular value. You want to choose second row, second value. That means you have to use a round bracket. Okay, so a matrix name followed by the row comma column. I say here A of 2 comma 2. So what is the value of A of 2 comma 2? Is a 5. In case you want to add a particular number with this, that means A of 2 comma 2 plus, let us say 5, so it's going to be 10, right? And if you type now A, we have not reassigned the value. I'm sorry for that. We only just take the variable and then we add and display. We have not reassigned. So what I mean reassigning, just see here, A of 2 comma 2 equals A of 2 comma 2 plus 5. Now you can see the result is nothing but 10. You have to be very careful. You have to reassign the values always. So this is how you can access the element of an array, and also you can select the complete row or column using the colon operator. For example, when I say A colon 2, that means all row second column. So what is the value? 2 and 10. All row, colon means all,